The sky darkens, the air grows still, and the sun vanishes behind the moon, leaving only a shimmering ring of fire in its place. For a brief moment, the world holds its breath. Today, we know this phenomenon as a total solar eclipse, a stunning cosmic event that still leaves us in awe. But for ancient cultures, it was far more than a spectacle. It was a message from the gods, a portent of change, or even a sign of impending doom. How did these civilizations, without telescopes or advanced mathematics, predict such celestial events with astonishing accuracy? The answer lies in their extraordinary ingenuity, meticulous observation, and deep connection to the rhythms of the heavens. In this video, we'll explore how ancient cultures mastered the skies, uncovering the secrets of their eclipse predictions and revealing how their knowledge still resonates with modern science. From the shadowy beginnings of astronomy to the sophisticated methods of the Maya and Chinese, we'll dive into the stories of those who first dared to read the stars. And it all starts with the earliest known eclipse predictions, a tale of curiosity, persistence, and the timeless human quest to understand the universe. Centuries before modern telescopes or computers, ancient civilizations were already unlocking the secrets of the heavens. Among them, the Babylonians stand out as true pioneers of eclipse prediction. Picture this: over 2,000 years ago, under the vast Mesopotamian skies, astronomers meticulously etched their observations onto clay tablets. These weren't just random notes, they were detailed records of celestial events, tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and stars with remarkable precision. The Babylonians noticed something extraordinary. Eclipses didn't happen randomly. They followed a pattern, a rhythm in the cosmos. This led to the discovery of the Saro cycle, a repeating pattern of roughly 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. By studying this cycle, Babylonian astronomers could predict when an eclipse would occur, even centuries into the future. Imagine the dedication it took to piece together these patterns without the tools we have today. Their work wasn't just about observation, it was about decoding the language of the universe. One of the most fascinating aspects of their work is how they documented their findings. Inscribed on clay tablets, texts like the Enuma Anu Enlil reveal their meticulous methods. For example, one tablet reads, "When the moon is eclipsed on the 14th day, the king will die." While this might sound superstitious to us, it underscores how deeply they connected celestial events to earthly outcomes. Their predictions weren't just scientific, they were woven into the fabric of their culture and governance. But the Babylonians didn't keep this knowledge to themselves. Their discoveries laid the foundation for other civilizations to build upon. From the Greeks to the Chinese, the principles they uncovered became a springboard for further exploration. Their work reminds us that even without modern technology, human curiosity and ingenuity can achieve incredible things. As we move forward, let's consider how other ancient cultures took these early discoveries and expanded upon them, creating even more sophisticated systems to understand the cosmos. For countless ancient cultures, the heavens weren't just a canvas of stars and planets, they were a stage where gods, heroes, and mythical creatures played out epic dramas. And eclipses, these celestial events, were often the climax of those stories. Take the ancient Greeks, for example. To them, a solar eclipse wasn't just the moon passing in front of the sun. It was a moment when the sun god Helios was momentarily overtaken by dark forces. Some stories even described it as a dragon or monster devouring the sun, sparking both fear and fascination. This mythological framing wasn't just storytelling, it shaped how they saw and studied the skies. The Chinese had their own vivid tales. In their mythology, solar eclipses were often linked to a celestial dragon attempting to swallow the sun. To prevent this catastrophe, people would bang drums, shout, and create as much noise as possible to scare the dragon away. It might sound like superstition, but this practice reveals something profound. The Chinese were deeply attentive to the timing and patterns of eclipses. Over centuries, their myth-driven curiosity evolved into meticulous record-keeping, laying the groundwork for some of the earliest eclipse predictions. Then there's the Maya, whose myths connected eclipses to the gods' whims and cosmic battles. For them, a solar eclipse was a sign of imbalance, a moment when the sun god Kinish-Ahau was under threat. But rather than simply fearing these events, the Maya turned their myths into motivation. They developed intricate calendars and observatories to track celestial movements, blending their spiritual beliefs with a practical desire to understand and predict eclipses. Their myths weren't just stories, they were a driving force behind some of the most advanced astronomical systems of their time. What's fascinating is how these mythologies didn't hold ancient cultures back, they propelled them forward. The stories of celestial battles and cosmic threats weren't just about explaining the unknown. They inspired people to look closer, to study the skies, and to seek patterns in the chaos. This blend of mythology and observation laid the foundation for the tools and methods they would later develop, turning awe and wonder into scientific progress. And as we'll see next, these practical innovations were nothing short of extraordinary. One of the most astonishing artifacts from the ancient world is the Antikythera Mechanism, a device so advanced that it's often referred to as the world's first analog computer. Discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera in the early 20th century, this intricate bronze device dates back to around 150 to 100 BC. At first glance, it might look like a jumble of gears and dials, but this machine was far ahead of its time, capable of predicting not only eclipses but also the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. The mechanism worked by using a complex system of interlocking gears, each precisely calibrated to replicate the cycles of celestial bodies. By turning a hand crank, users could align the gears to simulate the positions of the sun and moon, allowing them to predict lunar and solar eclipses with remarkable accuracy. What's truly mind-blowing is the level of sophistication involved. This wasn't just a simple tool. It was a multifunctional device that could track the Metonic cycle, a 19-year period used to synchronize lunar and solar calendars and even account for irregularities in the moon's orbit. But what makes the Antikythera Mechanism truly extraordinary is what it represents about the ancient Greeks' understanding of the cosmos. They didn't just observe the heavens, they sought to model them mathematically, creating a device that could predict celestial events decades in advance. This wasn't just stargazing, it was a fusion of astronomy, engineering, and artistry. Now, while the Antikythera Mechanism stands out as a pinnacle of ancient innovation, it's worth noting that other cultures developed their own methods for predicting eclipses, often with far simpler tools. For example, the Chinese used shadow-casting devices like the gnomon to track the sun's movements, while the Maya relied on detailed astronomical tables carved into stone. Each culture, in its own way, found a way to decode the rhythms of the universe, proving that even without modern technology, human ingenuity knew no bounds. One of the most enduring mysteries of ancient architecture lies in the heart of England's Stonehenge. This iconic circle of massive stones has puzzled historians, archaeologists, and visitors for centuries. But what if these towering monoliths weren't just a ceremonial site? What if they were a sophisticated astronomical observatory designed to track the movements of the sun, moon, and even predict eclipses? The layout of Stonehenge is no accident. Its stones are precisely aligned with the solstices, the longest and shortest days of the year. During the summer solstice, the rising sun shines directly through the center of the structure, casting a dramatic beam of light across its inner circle. Similarly, during the winter solstice, the setting sun aligns perfectly with another key feature of the monument. These alignments suggest that the builders of Stonehenge had a deep understanding of the solar cycle. But it doesn't stop there. Some researchers argue that the site's design also accounts for lunar movements, potentially allowing its creators to predict eclipses. Eclipses, after all, are celestial events that require precise knowledge of both the sun and moon's paths. If Stonehenge's builders could track these patterns, they might have been able to forecast when the moon would pass directly in front of the sun, plunging the world into temporary darkness. This would have been an extraordinary feat, especially considering the tools, or lack thereof, available at the time. Yet not everyone agrees on Stonehenge's purpose. While some see it as an ancient observatory, others argue it was primarily a site for rituals or burials. The debate continues, with each new discovery adding another layer to the mystery. What we do know is that Stonehenge stands as a testament to the ingenuity of its creators, who, thousands of years ago, may have used their understanding of the heavens to mark time, predict events, and connect their lives to the cosmos. From the rolling hills of England, we now turn to another ancient marvel, one that shares a similar fascination with the stars: the pyramids of Egypt. Just as Stonehenge's stones align with the solstices, the pyramids too hold secrets of celestial knowledge, offering another glimpse into how ancient cultures looked to the skies for answers. The Mayan civilization stands out as one of history's most sophisticated stargazers, and their mastery of astronomy is nothing short of extraordinary. At the heart of their celestial knowledge was the long count calendar, a system so precise it could track time over thousands of years. But what truly sets the Maya apart is how they used this calendar, along with their sacred texts like the Dresden Codex, to predict eclipses with stunning accuracy. Within the pages of the Dresden Codex, you'll find detailed eclipse tables charts that meticulously mapped out the cycles of the moon and sun. These weren't just random observations. They were the result of generations of careful study, allowing the Maya to forecast eclipses years, even decades in advance. For the Maya, eclipses weren't just astronomical events. They were deeply woven into their culture and spirituality. They believed eclipses were moments when the cosmic balance shifted, often signaling impending change or even danger. Priests and astronomers would use their predictions to prepare rituals, offer sacrifices, or guide their people through these celestial omens. It's a testament to how intertwined their science and spirituality were, blending observation with meaning in a way that feels almost poetic. Interestingly, the Maya weren't alone in their fascination with eclipses. Other Mesoamerican cultures, like the Aztecs, also developed their own methods for tracking these events, often drawing on similar principles of celestial cycles. But what makes the Maya truly unique is the sheer precision of their predictions. While others relied on broader patterns, the Maya refined their calculations to an almost mathematical art form. Their work wasn't just impressive for its time, it remains a marvel even by modern standards. So how did they do it? The Maya observed the repeating patterns of the moon's orbit, known as the Saro cycle, which repeats every 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. By tracking these cycles, they could predict when the moon would align perfectly with the sun, casting its shadow on the earth. It's a level of insight that speaks volumes about their dedication to understanding the cosmos, and it's a reminder of how much we owe to these ancient astronomers. Their legacy isn't just in the stones of their temples or the pages of their codices. It's in the way they remind us that the sky has always been a canvas for both science and story. Ancient China holds some of the most meticulous and extensive records of eclipses in human history, dating all the way back to the Shang dynasty, around 3,600 years ago. These records weren't just casual observations, they were detailed, precise, and often tied to significant events. Chinese astronomers meticulously documented the dates, times, and even the colors of eclipses, creating a treasure trove of data that allowed them to identify patterns over centuries. By studying these patterns, they could predict future eclipses with remarkable accuracy long before modern tools existed. This wasn't just science, it was a blend of astronomy, mathematics, and a deep understanding of celestial cycles. But eclipses in ancient China weren't just about science. They carried profound cultural and political significance. In Chinese tradition, the heavens were seen as a reflection of the emperor's mandate to rule, a concept known as the mandate of heaven. An eclipse, especially a solar one, was often interpreted as a celestial message, a sign that the emperor's rule was being questioned by the cosmos itself. This belief made eclipse predictions not just a matter of curiosity, but a critical tool for governance. Accurate forecasts allowed emperors and their advisors to prepare for potential unrest or to reinforce their authority by demonstrating their connection to the heavens. In this way, the work of Chinese astronomers didn't just shape science, it shaped history. The influence of these predictions went beyond the palace walls. Farmers, too, relied on the knowledge of eclipses, as they were often seen as omens affecting agriculture and daily life. By understanding when an eclipse might occur, communities could prepare for its cultural and spiritual implications, turning what might have been a moment of fear into one of reverence and understanding. This intricate relationship between the skies and society shows just how deeply intertwined astronomy was with every aspect of life in ancient China. As we reflect on these records, it's impossible not to marvel at the dedication and ingenuity of these early astronomers. Their ability to predict eclipses without telescopes or computers stands as a testament to human curiosity and the power of observation. And as we move forward, their legacy reminds us that the stars above have always been more than just distant lights. They've been guides, messengers, and mirrors of our own lives here on Earth. Astrology wasn't just about reading the stars for personal fortunes or omens. It was a cornerstone of ancient eclipse prediction. For cultures like the Greeks and Indians, the movement of celestial bodies wasn't random chaos but a carefully orchestrated dance, one that held the key to understanding the universe. Astrological charts, often intricate and meticulously crafted, served as maps of the heavens, guiding ancient scholars in forecasting eclipses long before they darkened the skies. The Greeks, for instance, saw eclipses as celestial messages, often tied to the fate of rulers or empires. They believed that the alignment of the sun, moon, and earth carried divine significance, and their astrological interpretations were deeply woven into their cultural fabric. Similarly, in ancient India, Vedic astrology played a central role in predicting eclipses. Indian astronomers used complex systems called nakshatras, or lunar mansions, to track the moon's path and anticipate its interactions with the sun. These predictions weren't just scientific, they were spiritual, tied to rituals and ceremonies meant to appease the gods and protect against perceived calamities. What's fascinating is how these cultures blended science and spirituality seamlessly. Astrology wasn't seen as separate from astronomy. It was part of a holistic understanding of the cosmos. The stars and planets were not just physical objects but symbols imbued with meaning, reflecting the interconnectedness of the universe and human life. This dual approach allowed ancient civilizations to not only predict eclipses but also imbue them with cultural and spiritual significance. Yet, beneath the astrological interpretations lay a foundation of mathematical precision. These ancient scholars didn't rely solely on celestial omens. They calculated. The next step in their journey was to refine these calculations, moving beyond the symbolic and into the realm of numbers, where the true mechanics of eclipses began to unfold. Ancient cultures didn't just rely on myths or intuition to predict eclipses, they used mathematics, and some of their methods were incredibly sophisticated for their time. One of the most remarkable tools they developed was the Metonic cycle. Named after the Greek astronomer Meton, this 19-year cycle was based on the observation that solar and lunar events tend to repeat in a predictable pattern over this time span. By tracking the movements of the sun and moon over decades, ancient astronomers could calculate when eclipses would occur with surprising accuracy. But the Metonic cycle was just one piece of the puzzle. Geometry also played a crucial role. The Babylonians, for example, were masters of using geometric patterns to map the sky. They divided the sky into segments and tracked the angles at which the sun, moon, and stars appeared. This allowed them to predict not only when eclipses would happen, but also where in the sky they would be visible. It's a bit like solving a puzzle. By understanding the shapes and angles of celestial movements, they could piece together the bigger picture. The Greeks took this a step further, combining geometry with their philosophical curiosity about the cosmos. Thinkers like Thales and Hipparchus used geometric models to explain the mechanics of eclipses. They imagined the Earth, Moon, and Sun as spheres moving in specific orbits, and by calculating the angles between them, they could predict when these spheres would align to create an eclipse. It's fascinating to realize that these ancient astronomers were essentially doing trigonometry without the tools we have today. Of course, mathematics alone wasn't enough. Observational techniques were just as important. Ancient astronomers spent countless nights meticulously recording the positions of celestial bodies. These observations fed into their calculations, allowing them to refine their predictions over time. For instance, the Babylonians kept detailed records of eclipses spanning centuries, which they used to detect patterns and improve their accuracy. This combination of math and observation laid the groundwork for the more advanced astronomical systems that would follow. Ancient astronomers didn't have the luxury of telescopes or satellites, but they had something equally powerful: an unshakable curiosity and a keen eye for patterns in the sky. To predict eclipses, they relied on meticulous observation, tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and stars over years, even centuries. They noticed how the sun's path shifted with the seasons, how the moon's phases repeated in a predictable cycle, and how certain stars disappeared and reappeared at specific times of the year. These patterns became the foundation of their understanding, allowing them to anticipate celestial events like eclipses with surprising accuracy. One of the most important tools they used was the gnomon, a simple yet ingenious device. Imagine a tall stick planted in the ground. By observing the shadow it cast at different times of the day and year, ancient astronomers could track the sun's position and movement. This helped them determine key moments like solstices and equinoxes, which were critical for predicting eclipses. Sundials took this concept further, turning the gnomon's shadow into a precise timekeeping tool. These devices weren't just practical, they were also symbolic, representing humanity's deep connection to the rhythms of the cosmos. Another breakthrough came with the astrolabe, a more complex instrument that allowed astronomers to measure the angles of celestial bodies. By aligning the astrolabe with the horizon and referencing star charts, they could map the positions of the sun, moon, and stars in relation to Earth. This gave them a three-dimensional understanding of the sky, making it possible to calculate when the moon would pass in front of the sun or when Earth's shadow would fall on the moon. The astrolabe was like an ancient GPS for the heavens, guiding astronomers through the vast expanse of space. But these tools were only as effective as the people using them. Ancient astronomers had to be incredibly patient and precise, often spending years recording data before they could identify reliable patterns. They didn't have the instant calculations of modern computers, so every observation had to be made by hand, often under challenging conditions. Imagine standing outside for hours, night after night, carefully noting the position of a single star or the length of a shadow. It was a labor of love, driven by a desire to understand the mysteries of the universe. What's even more remarkable is how this knowledge was preserved and passed down through generations. In many cultures, astronomical observations were carefully recorded in texts, carved into stone, or woven into oral traditions. Young apprentices would learn from their elders, mastering the art of observation and calculation. This ensured that the wisdom of one generation became the foundation for the next, creating an unbroken chain of discovery that spanned centuries. The ability to predict eclipses wasn't just a scientific achievement, it was a testament to the power of shared knowledge and the enduring human quest to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. The preservation and transmission of astronomical knowledge in ancient times is a fascinating story of human ingenuity and collaboration. Without the convenience of modern technology, ancient cultures relied on a combination of oral traditions, written records, and even the vast networks of trade routes to share their discoveries about the cosmos. Picture this: a Babylonian scholar, having meticulously recorded the patterns of eclipses on clay tablets, passes this knowledge to a Greek traveler. That traveler, in turn, carries it across the Mediterranean, where it eventually finds its way into the works of thinkers like Ptolemy. This exchange of ideas wasn't just about trade goods, it was about trading the very secrets of the heavens. Oral traditions played a crucial role in keeping this knowledge alive. In many cultures, elders or priests would memorize intricate astronomical details, passing them down through generations. These stories weren't just dry recitations, they were often woven into myths, rituals, and even songs, making them easier to remember and share. Think of the Polynesian navigators who used the stars to guide their voyages across vast oceans. Their knowledge of celestial movements wasn't written down but was instead preserved through chants and teachings, ensuring it endured for centuries. Written records, on the other hand, provided a more permanent way to store and share astronomical insights. The Babylonians, for example, were meticulous in documenting their observations. Their clay tablets, some of which survive to this day, contain detailed records of lunar and solar eclipses. These records didn't just stay in Babylon, they traveled. Through trade routes and diplomatic exchanges, Babylonian astronomy made its way to Greece, where it influenced thinkers like Hipparchus and Ptolemy. This cross-cultural exchange wasn't just a one-way street either. Greek advancements in geometry and astronomy later flowed back into the Middle East, creating a rich, interconnected web of knowledge. One of the most striking examples of this exchange is the influence of Babylonian eclipse prediction methods on Greek science. The Babylonians had developed a system called the Saro cycle, which allowed them to predict eclipses with remarkable accuracy. This system was later adopted and refined by the Greeks, who combined it with their own mathematical prowess to create more sophisticated models of the cosmos. It's a testament to how cultures built on each other's discoveries, creating a shared legacy of understanding. And then there are cultures that stand out for their unique methods of preserving astronomical knowledge. Take the Maya, for instance. Their civilization developed an incredibly precise calendar system, capable of predicting eclipses and other celestial events with astonishing accuracy. This knowledge was recorded in codices, books made from bark paper, and inscribed on stone monuments. Even after the Spanish conquest, which destroyed many of these records, fragments of this knowledge survived, preserved by descendants who kept the traditions alive. The transmission of astronomical knowledge wasn't just about preserving facts, it was about preserving a connection to the universe itself. Through oral traditions, written records, and the exchange of ideas across cultures, ancient peoples ensured that their understanding of the cosmos would endure. And as we look back at their achievements, we're reminded of how much we owe to their curiosity, their determination, and their ability to share what they learned with the world. The Inca civilization, masters of both engineering and astronomy, left behind a remarkable legacy that reveals their deep connection to the cosmos. Among their most intriguing creations were their solar observatories, designed not just to mark the passage of time, but to unlock the secrets of the heavens. Take the Intihuatana stone, for example, a carefully sculpted pillar found in sites like Machu Picchu. This hitching post of the sun, as it's often called, wasn't just a spiritual symbol, it was a precise tool for tracking the sun's journey across the sky. By observing the shadows cast by the stone throughout the year, the Inca could predict the solstices and equinoxes with astonishing accuracy, but their knowledge went even further. Some researchers believe the Inca may have used similar markers to anticipate eclipses, aligning their observations with patterns in the sun's movements to forecast these celestial events. For the Inca, the sun was more than just a source of light and warmth. It was a divine force central to their religion and daily life. Their solar observatories weren't merely scientific instruments, they were sacred spaces where the earthly and the celestial converged. The Intihuatana stone, for instance, was believed to hold the sun in place during the winter solstice, ensuring its return and the renewal of life. This blend of spiritual and practical purpose highlights how the Inca saw the cosmos as deeply intertwined with their survival. By understanding the sun's cycles, they could plan agricultural activities, organize religious ceremonies, and even navigate political events, all tied to the rhythms of the sky. What's fascinating is how the Inca methods compare to other Andean cultures, who also developed sophisticated ways of tracking celestial events. Like the Inca, the Moche and Tiwanaku civilizations built structures aligned with the sun's path, using shadows and light to mark important dates. These shared practices suggest a broader regional understanding of astronomy, one that transcended individual empires and connected diverse peoples through a common celestial language. The Inca, however, took this knowledge to new heights, integrating it into every aspect of their society. Their ability to predict eclipses, if confirmed, would place them among the most advanced sky watchers of the ancient world, a testament to their ingenuity and reverence for the heavens. Ancient temples were more than just places of worship, they were masterpieces of astronomical precision. In cultures like Egypt and India, these sacred structures were often designed with a deep connection to the heavens. Take, for example, the great temple of Amun-Ra in Karnak, Egypt. Its massive columns and sprawling courtyards were meticulously aligned with the rising and setting of the sun during key times of the year, like the solstices. But it wasn't just about marking the seasons. Some scholars believe that these alignments also served as a way to track celestial events, including eclipses. In India, temples like the Sun Temple at Konark were built with such exacting precision that they functioned as giant astronomical instruments. The temple's main tower was designed to cast shadows in specific patterns during equinoxes and solstices, and its carvings depict celestial phenomena with remarkable accuracy. The architects of these structures didn't just rely on guesswork. They used advanced knowledge of geometry, mathematics, and astronomy to create buildings that could effectively read the sky. The level of precision required for these designs is staggering. Imagine trying to align a massive stone structure with the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, using nothing but simple tools and observations. It's a testament to the ingenuity and dedication of these ancient cultures. And while the exact methods they used to predict eclipses remain a mystery, the alignment of these temples suggests they had a sophisticated understanding of celestial cycles. These practices didn't just stay confined to their place of origin. The knowledge and techniques developed by these ancient astronomers influenced later civilizations, from the Greeks to the Mayans. The legacy of these temples lives on, not just in their breathtaking architecture, but in the way they remind us of humanity's enduring fascination with the cosmos. The ancient Greeks didn't just observe the heavens, they sought to understand them. Among the earliest to make groundbreaking strides was Thales of Miletus, who, in the 6th century BCE, famously predicted a solar eclipse in 585 BCE. While the exact methods he used remain a mystery, his achievement marked a turning point. It wasn't just about forecasting an eclipse, it was about proving that celestial events could be understood through reason and observation, not just myth or divine intervention. This shift in thinking laid the foundation for what would become Western astronomy. Building on Thales' legacy, Hipparchus of Nicaea took things even further in the 2nd century BC. He didn't just predict eclipses, he studied the patterns behind them. Hipparchus meticulously tracked the motions of the sun and moon, developing mathematical models to explain their orbits. His work led to the discovery of what we now call the Saros cycle, a repeating pattern of eclipses that occurs every 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. This was a monumental leap forward, as it allowed astronomers to predict eclipses with remarkable accuracy for the first time in history. Then came Claudius Ptolemy, whose work in the 2nd century CE became the cornerstone of Western astronomy for over a millennium. In his groundbreaking text, the Almagest, Ptolemy synthesized centuries of Greek astronomical knowledge, including detailed theories on eclipses. He refined the geocentric model of the universe, explaining how the sun, moon, and planets moved in complex orbits. While his system wasn't perfect, it placed Earth at the center of the cosmos. It provided a framework that could predict eclipses with precision, a feat that would influence astronomers for centuries. But the story doesn't end with the Greeks. As the Roman Empire declined, their astronomical knowledge didn't vanish. It was preserved and expanded upon by Islamic scholars during the Golden Age of Islam. These thinkers not only translated Greek texts but also built upon them, correcting errors and refining calculations. Figures like al-Battani and al-Khwarizmi took Ptolemy's work and pushed it further, using advanced mathematics to improve eclipse predictions. This cultural exchange between ancient Greece and the Islamic world ensured that the legacy of Greek astronomy would endure, shaping the scientific revolution that followed centuries later. During the Golden Age of Islam, which spanned from the 8th to the 13th centuries, Islamic astronomers made groundbreaking strides in understanding the heavens. Building on the knowledge of earlier civilizations like the Greeks and Indians, they refined existing methods and introduced innovative tools that transformed the field of astronomy. One of their most significant contributions was in the realm of eclipse prediction. By meticulously observing the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, Islamic scholars developed highly accurate models to forecast celestial events. A key figure in this era was al-Battani, often referred to as the Ptolemy of the Arabs. His work was revolutionary. He corrected many inaccuracies in Ptolemy's calculations, particularly concerning the orbits of celestial bodies, and his observations of solar and lunar eclipses were so precise that they remained influential for centuries. Al-Battani's Zij, or astronomical tables, became a cornerstone for later astronomers, both in the Islamic world and in Europe. These tables not only predicted eclipses but also provided detailed data on planetary positions and the timing of equinoxes. Islamic astronomers also developed new instruments to enhance their observations. The astrolabe, for instance, became a versatile tool for measuring the angles of celestial bodies. By combining these instruments with mathematical rigor, they could predict eclipses with remarkable accuracy. Their methods were not just practical, they were deeply tied to religious practices, as precise timing was essential for determining prayer times and the start of lunar months. What's fascinating is how Islamic astronomers didn't just replicate earlier ideas, they expanded on them. They integrated Greek geometry with Indian trigonometry, creating a hybrid approach that was uniquely their own. This synthesis of knowledge allowed them to push the boundaries of what was possible in astronomy. As we move from the Islamic world to the Indian subcontinent, we see another rich tradition of celestial observation. Indian astronomers, much like their Islamic counterparts, developed sophisticated methods for predicting eclipses, often blending science with spirituality. But that's a story for the next part of our journey. For now, it's clear that the golden age of Islam left an indelible mark on the history of astronomy, proving that the stars have always been a universal language connecting civilizations across time and space. Ancient Indian astronomy stands as one of the most sophisticated systems of celestial observation in human history. Rooted in texts like the Vedas and the Siddhantas, this knowledge wasn't just about charting the heavens, it was deeply intertwined with culture, religion, and the rhythms of daily life. The Vedas, composed as early as 1500 BC, contain hymns and references to celestial phenomena, including eclipses. These texts reveal a profound understanding of the cosmos, where eclipses were not merely astronomical events but also moments of spiritual significance. Indian astronomers, drawing from the Siddhantas, a series of mathematical and astronomical treatises, developed precise methods for predicting eclipses. They calculated the positions of the sun, moon, and earth with remarkable accuracy, using tools like the Gnomon and complex geometric models. The Siddhantas provided formulas to determine when and where an eclipse would occur, often aligning these predictions with religious festivals and rituals. For instance, eclipses were seen as times of transformation, when the alignment of celestial bodies influenced both the physical and spiritual realms. Rituals like fasting, bathing in sacred rivers, and reciting prayers were common practices during these events, reflecting a belief in the interconnectedness of the cosmos and human life. What makes Indian astronomy particularly fascinating is its blend of science and spirituality. While the calculations were rooted in meticulous observation and mathematics, eclipses were also viewed as omens or moments of divine intervention. This duality, scientific precision paired with cultural reverence, sets Indian astronomy apart from other traditions. It wasn't just about predicting the skies, it was about understanding humanity's place within them. When compared to other South Asian cultures, Indian methods share similarities, particularly in their reliance on mathematical frameworks and cyclical timekeeping. However, the unique integration of spiritual and scientific thought in Indian tradition offers a distinct perspective. This holistic approach not only advanced astronomical knowledge but also enriched the cultural fabric of the region, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire awe and curiosity today. The vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean might seem like an insurmountable challenge to navigate, especially without modern tools. Yet, the Polynesian navigators achieved the extraordinary, crossing thousands of miles of open water with nothing but their deep understanding of the stars, the winds, and the waves. Their celestial knowledge wasn't just a matter of survival, it was a profound connection to the heavens, one that guided them across the ocean with astonishing precision. At the heart of their navigation techniques was an intricate understanding of the night sky. Polynesian navigators memorized the positions of stars, using them as fixed points to chart their course. But their expertise didn't stop there. They also observed celestial events, including eclipses, which held special significance. An eclipse, with its dramatic interplay of light and shadow, wasn't just a spectacle, it was a navigational marker. By tracking the timing and location of eclipses, these skilled voyagers could pinpoint their position on the open sea, ensuring they stayed on course even when landmarks were nowhere in sight. What's truly remarkable is how this knowledge was preserved. Without written records, Polynesian navigators relied on oral traditions, passing down their celestial wisdom through generations. Stories, chants, and songs became the vessels for this intricate science, ensuring that the secrets of the stars remained alive. This oral tradition wasn't just practical, it was a testament to the cultural importance of navigation, deeply woven into the identity of Polynesian societies. The Polynesians' use of eclipses highlights a broader theme. Ancient cultures didn't just observe the heavens, they used them. For these navigators, an eclipse wasn't just a rare astronomical event. It was a tool, a guide, and a reminder of their place in the cosmos. And as we'll see, this practical approach to celestial phenomena was shared by cultures across the globe, each finding their own ways to harness the power of the skies. Ancient cultures didn't just see eclipses as celestial spectacles, they wove them into the very fabric of their daily lives, especially when it came to agriculture and timekeeping. Imagine living in a world where the sun and moon weren't just lights in the sky but guiding forces for planting, harvesting, and survival. For many civilizations, predicting eclipses wasn't about curiosity, it was about necessity. Take ancient Egypt, for example. The Nile River's flooding patterns were the lifeblood of their agriculture, and the Egyptians noticed that eclipses often coincided with key moments in their farming calendar. By tracking these events, they could anticipate when the river would rise, signaling the perfect time to sow their crops. Eclipses became a kind of celestial alarm clock, reminding farmers to prepare for the seasons ahead. In China, eclipses were equally tied to the rhythms of agriculture. The Chinese lunar calendar, one of the oldest in history, was meticulously designed to align with both the moon's phases and the solar year. Eclipses were seen as critical markers, helping to refine the calendar's accuracy. Farmers relied on these predictions to determine the ideal times for planting rice and other staple crops. An eclipse wasn't just a rare event, it was a practical tool for ensuring food security. Mesoamerican cultures like the Maya took this even further. Their sophisticated calendar systems were so precise that they could predict eclipses centuries in advance. For the Maya, eclipses were deeply tied to their agricultural cycles, particularly the planting of maize. They believed that the gods used eclipses to communicate, and these events often prompted rituals to ensure a bountiful harvest. The Maya even built observatories to track the movements of celestial bodies, blending science and spirituality in their quest to master time. But eclipses weren't just about practicality, they were deeply cultural. Many societies saw them as moments of divine intervention, occasions to perform rituals and ceremonies. In Egypt, priests interpreted eclipses as messages from the gods, often leading to offerings and prayers. In China, the emperor would perform specific rituals to restore harmony after an eclipse, believing it was a sign of imbalance in the cosmos. And in Mesoamerica, entire communities would gather to witness these events, participating in ceremonies to honor the gods and ensure their favor. These ancient practices show us how deeply intertwined humanity has always been with the skies. Eclipses weren't just astronomical phenomena, they were woven into the very fabric of life, shaping how people farmed, worshipped, and understood their place in the universe. And as we look back at these traditions, it's impossible not to marvel at the ingenuity and reverence of those who came before us. Ancient cultures didn't just observe eclipses, they lived them. For many civilizations, an eclipse wasn't merely a celestial event. It was a moment of cosmic significance, often interpreted as a sign of divine displeasure or an omen of impending doom. To navigate this perceived chaos, they developed elaborate rituals and superstitions aimed at restoring balance and protecting their communities. Take, for instance, the ancient Chinese, who believed a solar eclipse occurred when a celestial dragon devoured the sun. To save the sun, they would gather in public spaces, banging drums, pots, and pans to frighten the dragon away. Similarly, in ancient Mesopotamia, people viewed eclipses as a direct threat from their gods. They would perform rituals, including chants and sacrifices, to appease these deities and prevent catastrophe. These practices weren't just about fear, they were a way for societies to exert control over the uncontrollable, turning chaos into order through shared action. In the Americas, the Inca civilization took a different approach. They interpreted eclipses as a sign that the sun god, Inti, was angry. To calm him, they would fast, abstain from certain activities, and sometimes even offer sacrifices. Meanwhile, in parts of Africa, eclipses were seen as a battle between the sun and moon, with communities performing dances and rituals to help the sun reclaim its light. What's fascinating about these rituals is how they reflect the way ancient cultures understood the world. Eclipses were tied to their spiritual beliefs, their myths, and their sense of place in the cosmos. These practices weren't just superstitions, they were a way to make sense of the unknown, to connect the heavens with the earth, and to bring communities together in moments of uncertainty. And while we might see these rituals as purely symbolic today, they laid the groundwork for something extraordinary. The same curiosity that drove ancient peoples to drum, chant, and sacrifice eventually led to deeper observations, calculations, and a scientific understanding of eclipses. These early practices, rooted in myth and ritual, were the first steps toward uncovering the true nature of these celestial events. So, while we no longer bang pots to scare away dragons, we owe a debt to these ancient traditions. They remind us that science and spirituality aren't always opposites. Sometimes they're two sides of the same coin, both driven by a desire to understand the mysteries of the universe. One of the most remarkable aspects of ancient eclipse predictions is how their methods have stood the test of time. Long before telescopes or computers, cultures like the Babylonians and Chinese developed techniques that not only predicted eclipses but also revealed fundamental truths about the cosmos. Take the Saro cycle, for example, a pattern first identified by Babylonian astronomers around 2,500 years ago. This cycle, which lasts approximately 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours, predicts when and where eclipses will recur. Today, this same principle is still used by modern astronomers, proving just how advanced these early thinkers truly were. What makes the Saro cycle so enduring is its simplicity and accuracy. By observing the alignment of the sun, moon, and earth over time, ancient astronomers noticed a repeating pattern. They realized that after one Saro cycle, the three celestial bodies would return to nearly the same positions, creating the conditions for another eclipse. This discovery wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was the result of meticulous record-keeping and a deep understanding of celestial mechanics. Their work laid the groundwork for the precision we rely on today. But the legacy of ancient eclipse predictions goes beyond the Saro cycle. These early astronomers also developed tools and methods that influenced how we study the skies. For instance, the Antikythera Mechanism, an ancient Greek device dating back to around 150 BCE, was essentially an analog computer designed to predict astronomical events, including eclipses. Its intricate gears and dials demonstrate a level of sophistication that wouldn't be matched for centuries. This device, along with the detailed eclipse records kept by the Chinese and Mayans, shows how these cultures were not just observers of the heavens, they were pioneers of scientific inquiry. Modern astronomy has, of course, expanded on these foundations in incredible ways. Today, satellites and computer models allow us to predict eclipses with pinpoint accuracy, even centuries into the future. But it's worth remembering that these advancements wouldn't have been possible without the groundwork laid by ancient astronomers. Their curiosity, ingenuity, and dedication to understanding the cosmos have left an indelible mark on science. As we gaze at the stars with our advanced tools, we're continuing a journey that began thousands of years ago, standing on the shoulders of those who first dared to decode the mysteries of the sky. Modern astronomy and the ancient methods of predicting eclipses are like two sides of the same cosmic coin. each remarkable in its own way but vastly different in execution. Ancient cultures relied on keen observation, meticulous record-keeping, and patterns etched into the sky over generations. They used tools like stone circles, shadow-casting devices, and even the alignment of monumental structures to track the movements of the sun and moon. These methods were ingenious, born out of necessity and a deep connection to the heavens, yet they were limited by the technology of their time. While ancient astronomers could predict eclipses with impressive accuracy, their forecasts were often tied to cycles spanning decades or centuries, leaving little room for pinpoint precision. Fast forward to today, and the tools at our disposal are nothing short of extraordinary. Telescopes, satellites, and supercomputers allow us to map the cosmos in real time, calculating the exact moment an eclipse will occur down to the second. Modern technology has eliminated the guesswork, offering a level of precision that ancient astronomers could only dream of. For example, NASA eclipse predictions are accurate to within a fraction of a second, and we can now forecast eclipses centuries into the future. But even with all this advancement, there's something humbling about the ingenuity of ancient methods. They remind us that, long before computers, humans were already asking profound questions about the universe and finding answers in the stars. That said, modern tools aren't without their own limitations. While they provide unmatched accuracy, they can sometimes distance us from the awe and wonder that eclipses once inspired. For ancient cultures, an eclipse wasn't just a celestial event. It was a moment of cosmic storytelling, a reminder of the interconnectedness of life and the universe. Today, with our ability to predict eclipses so precisely, we risk losing that sense of mystery and reverence. Yet, the cultural significance of eclipses endures. In the modern world, they still bring people together, sparking curiosity and reminding us of our shared humanity. Whether observed through the lens of ancient wisdom or cutting-edge science, eclipses continue to unite us under the same sky, bridging the gap between past and present. Even in our modern, technology-driven world, eclipses continue to hold a powerful grip on our imagination. They're not just celestial events, they're cultural phenomena that bring people together, inspire awe, and even drive scientific breakthroughs. Think about it. When was the last time millions of people paused their daily routines to look up at the sky? Whether it's a total solar eclipse casting its shadow across entire continents or a lunar eclipse turning the moon a deep, coppery red, these moments remind us of our shared humanity and our place in the universe. One of the most fascinating ways eclipses have woven themselves into modern culture is through solar eclipse tourism. Every time a total solar eclipse is predicted, people flock to the narrow path of totality, booking hotels, planning trips, and even crossing oceans just to witness those few minutes of darkness and the breathtaking corona of the sun. It's not just scientists or astronomers, it's everyday people, families, and adventurers, all united by the desire to experience something extraordinary. This global enthusiasm shows that, even today, eclipses have the power to inspire wonder and curiosity. But the fascination doesn't stop there. Eclipses have also left their mark on literature, film, and art. From ancient myths to modern blockbusters, they've been used as symbols of transformation, mystery, and even doom. Think about how often eclipses appear in stories, whether it's a dramatic turning point in a novel or a climactic scene in a movie. They're a visual shorthand for something monumental, something that changes the course of events. And in real life, they often feel that way too, as if time itself pauses for a moment. What's remarkable is how this modern fascination mirrors the way ancient cultures viewed eclipses. While we now understand the science behind them, the emotional impact remains the same. The awe, the curiosity, the sense of connection to something larger than ourselves, these are timeless reactions. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson we can take from ancient cultures. that there's value in pausing to marvel at the natural world, in seeking to understand it, and in letting it remind us of our shared humanity. After all, whether you're standing in the shadow of a solar eclipse or reading about one in a story, the experience is universal, a reminder that, across time and cultures, we're all looking up at the same sky. What if I told you that the same curiosity that drove ancient astronomers to study the heavens thousands of years ago still lives within us today? Their story isn't just a tale of the past, it's a testament to human ingenuity and the timeless drive to understand the world around us. These early stargazers didn't have telescopes or satellites, but what they did have was an unshakable determination to observe, record, and make sense of the patterns they saw in the sky. And those patterns, whether it was the predictable dance of the sun and moon or the sudden darkness of an eclipse, became the foundation of their knowledge. Ancient astronomers didn't just look up at the night sky, they studied it meticulously, often over generations. They tracked the movements of celestial bodies, noting even the smallest changes, and passed that knowledge down through stories, carvings, and monuments. This wasn't just science, it was a collaborative effort, a shared pursuit of understanding that required patience, precision, and a willingness to learn from those who came before. Think about that. They were solving puzzles without the tools we take for granted today, relying on nothing but their eyes, their minds, and the persistence to keep looking. What's truly remarkable is how much their work still resonates with us. The skills they honed, observation, pattern recognition, collaboration, are the same ones that drive scientific discovery today. Whether we're studying climate change, exploring distant galaxies, or even developing new technologies, we're building on the same principles that guided those ancient astronomers. Their legacy reminds us that progress isn't just about having the latest tools, it's about how we use our curiosity and creativity to solve problems. And here's the thing, you don't need to be an expert to connect with that legacy. The night sky is still there, waiting for anyone to look up and wonder. You don't need fancy equipment to start exploring, just a clear night and a sense of curiosity. Maybe you'll spot a constellation, notice the phases of the moon, or even witness an eclipse. When you do, you're not just looking at stars, you're joining a tradition that stretches back thousands of years, one that reminds us how far we've come and how much more there is to discover. So, why not take a moment tonight to step outside, look up, and see what you can find? The stars have a way of putting things into perspective, and who knows, you might just feel that same spark of wonder that inspired the ancients. Observing an eclipse is one of the most awe-inspiring experiences nature has to offer, and with modern tools, it's easier and safer than ever to witness this celestial spectacle. But before you step outside to catch a glimpse, there are a few essential tips to keep in mind. First and foremost, never look directly at the sun without proper protection. Eclipse glasses, which are specifically designed with solar filters, are the safest way to view an eclipse. These glasses block harmful ultraviolet and infrared rays, allowing you to watch the moon pass in front of the sun without risking eye damage. Make sure your glasses meet the ISO 12312-2 International Safety Standard. This ensures they're up to the task. If you don't have eclipse glasses, don't worry. There are other safe methods to enjoy the event. One popular option is using a pinhole projector, which you can easily make at home with a piece of cardboard. By poking a small hole in the cardboard and letting sunlight pass through it onto a flat surface, you can project an image of the eclipse and watch it safely. Or if you're looking for a more high-tech approach, many organizations and observatories offer live streams of eclipses, allowing you to experience the event in real time from the comfort of your home. This is especially helpful if you're in an area where the eclipse isn't visible or if weather conditions aren't ideal. But there's something truly magical about seeing an eclipse with your own eyes. The way the sky darkens, the temperature drops, and the world seems to hold its breath, it's a moment that connects us to the cosmos in a profound way. So if you have the chance, step outside, gather with others, and share in the wonder. Just remember to stay safe and prepared. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored. From the ingenuity of ancient cultures predicting eclipses without modern tools to the incredible precision of today's astronomers, eclipses have always been a source of fascination and discovery. Whether you're watching through eclipse glasses, a pinhole projector, or a live stream, the experience is a reminder of how small we are in the grand scheme of the universe and how much there is still to learn. So, the next time an eclipse graces the skies, take a moment to look up and marvel at the cosmic dance happening above us. As we reflect on the incredible ingenuity of ancient cultures, it's impossible not to marvel at their ability to predict eclipses without the advanced tools we rely on today. From the intricate stone circles of Stonehenge to the precise astronomical records of the Babylonians, these civilizations demonstrated a profound understanding of the cosmos. They observed patterns, tracked celestial movements, and developed systems that allowed them to foresee these awe-inspiring events with remarkable accuracy. Their achievements remind us that human curiosity and the desire to understand the universe are timeless. But what makes eclipses so enduringly captivating? Perhaps it's the way they momentarily unite us under the same sky, a reminder of our shared connection to the cosmos. For ancient cultures, eclipses were more than celestial phenomena. They were moments of profound significance, woven into myths, rituals, and even political decisions. Today, while we understand the science behind eclipses, they still hold a sense of mystery and wonder. They remind us that, despite our technological advancements, there's still so much to discover about the universe. The legacy of these ancient astronomers continues to inspire modern science. Their methods, though rooted in observation and intuition, laid the groundwork for the sophisticated tools and theories we use today. By studying their techniques, we gain not only a deeper appreciation for their ingenuity, but also a renewed sense of humility. The cosmos, vast and ever-changing, remains a source of endless fascination. As we prepare to wrap up, let's take a moment to consider how these ancient insights still resonate in our lives. Whether you're an avid stargazer or someone who simply pauses to admire the night sky, the story of how humans have sought to understand eclipses is a testament to our enduring quest for knowledge. It's a story that bridges the past and the present, showing us that the mysteries of the universe are as compelling today as they were thousands of years ago. So, how did ancient cultures predict eclipses without the advanced tools we have today? Throughout history, people looked to the skies not just with wonder, but with a keen sense of observation and a deep understanding of patterns. From the Mayans, who meticulously tracked celestial cycles with their intricate calendars, to the Chinese, who saw eclipses as cosmic omens and recorded their movements with precision, these civilizations relied on centuries of accumulated knowledge. The Babylonians used mathematical formulas to predict lunar eclipses, while the Greeks, like Thales, applied geometry to forecast these celestial events. Even without telescopes or computers, these cultures demonstrated an extraordinary ability to decode the rhythms of the universe. What's truly remarkable is how these methods reveal a universal truth: humanity's enduring fascination with the cosmos. Eclipses weren't just astronomical events, they were woven into the fabric of culture, mythology, and even governance. They remind us of our shared history, one where the stars above were as much a part of life as the ground beneath our feet. As Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." These ancient practices show us that the connection between humanity and the heavens is timeless, bridging the gap between the past and the present. If this journey through the mysteries of ancient astronomy sparked your curiosity, Let us know in the comments below. What do you find most fascinating about how our ancestors understood the skies? Don't forget to subscribe and join us as we continue to explore the wonders of history, science, and the stories that connect us all. Until next time, keep looking up because the cosmos still has so much to teach us.